Hi everyone, welcome to today's Houzz Pro onboarding webinar. We're excited to be working with you to market and manage your business over the next 12 months and hopefully beyond. My name is Melanie, and along with my colleague Emma, in today's session, we will be guiding you through how to set yourself up for success with Houzz Pro. But first, a reminder to make the most out of your onboarding session today. Log in, take lots of notes, but don't worry, we are recording this session and you'll receive a copy of this in your email later today. Ask lots of questions. We are online, we're here to help, and you can do that through the Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll be chatting back to you. However, if we don't get to everyone's questions today, we will contact you via email after the webinar. We'll also be sharing some helpful links, and you'll see those appear in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen throughout the session. Feel free to bookmark these and refer back to them at a later date if you need to. Today, we'll be covering everything from logging into your account, premium Houzz profile features, setting up your Houzz Pro account, managing your leads through our CRM tool, everything to do with creating projects, estimates, and documents, and then finishing today's session with visual tools. So there's a lot to cover, so let's dive in. Okay, first things first, it's important that you can sign in. So you'll want to make sure you're on houzz.com.au if you are in Australia, that's .nz if you are in New Zealand. And if you're on Houzz and already signed in, you will see your Houzz in the top right-hand corner. If you don't, then simply click sign in. And this will take you through to our login page. And from here, you can enter in your login credentials and click the sign in button. However, if you're not sure what your password is, you can click email me link to sign in. You'll receive a magic link to your email and you'll be able to access your account from there. Or if you do need to reset your password, go ahead and click forgot your password underneath here. You'll be emailed a link to help you reset that so that you can log in. But if you know your details, enter those in and simply click sign in. And this will take you through to either the Houzz homepage or your profile page. So you'll see now that we're logged in, up in the top right hand corner, it does say your Houzz. You can always click your Houzz to be brought to your profile, no matter where you are on the Houzz website. And here you'll see we are now on my Houzz profile. When you first log into your Houzz profile, you'll be on the back end of your page. And to have a look and see what homeowners can see, simply click Preview Public Profile up here. So this will show you again the public view of your profile page on Houzz. To navigate back to your editing view, click back to private profile. So now that we're back on the edit page of your profile, let's look at how you can make updates to your profile to improve your online branding and increase your chance of lead conversion. And these are our premium profile features. Now, these features are only available to our paying professionals, and they include the company highlight video, standouts, and featured review. So starting with the highlight video, you'll see it here. It lives on your Houzz profile, and it selects highlights from your accomplishments and portfolio. To create your highlight video, you would click here, and the first page it will take you through to is templates. So from here, you can choose and scroll through the different types of templates that we have. You can select one that best suits you. And now you can start editing and building your video. You'll be able to choose from your projects and images. And once you've selected that, you can go down frame by frame and select what images and reviews you would like to showcase in your highlight video. You can also select music. We have some tracks that are more upbeat, some that are a bit more slow. Select what best suits you and your brand, and when you're happy, you can go ahead and click publish. Now, this is a really great way to capture your ideal clients quickly. It's where they can get a taste of what you specialize in and the great projects you've already completed, as they'll already be uploaded to your profile page. And we also know that 72% of our homeowners prefer to learn about your company and engage with this type of media. Okay. Next, we have our standouts, and you can see I've already got some selected on my page. I'm just going to show you how to select by clicking this pencil button. And now you can see I can select my standouts. So here you can select up to 3 different standouts to feature on your profile that set you apart from anyone else. Okay, so whether you're an Indigenous owned, eco-friendly, available on weekends professional, we have lots to choose from. Again, select what best describes you and your business, and then when you're done, you can save that. These will be listed on your profile page as well as your directory listing. And lastly, reviews. Now, I don't have any reviews on my demo account, but once you start to build this up, you can select a featured review. So your favorite review or a snippet of a review to feature on your page as well as your directory listing. And we hear year after year that reviews are the #1 hiring criteria on Houzz. So once you do start to build that up, having a review that best describes your business and what you do featured on your profile and listing is really important. Okay, once you've set that up, you can make edits to your profile. Simply click Edit Profile. You'll want to make sure you fill out as much detail as you can to make your profile look professional and established. Upload your logo, your business information, fill all of this out. And when you're done with that, your page will be set up. But let's now go to the professional portal and have a look at using the Houzz Pro software. So to access the professional portal, you'll just want to click on the blue Go to Houzz Pro, and this will take you through to our professional portal. So now that we've updated our client-facing Houzz profile, we are now in the Houzz Pro Professional Portal. So this is our professional portal that houses all of the software and tools that you need to run your business through Houzz Pro. So my first tip here would be to bookmark this page. You can do that by selecting the blue star in the URL bar and save this to your personal bookmarks so you can find this page easily when you need to. Now let's have a look at what you can see on this page. We're currently on the home overview page of the portal. At the top, you'll see links to all of the tools that we'll be going through later as well. As we scroll down, you'll see a few quick access links to our visual tools and leads. And then below that, here are some tips on making sure you are setting yourself up for success on Houzz. So have you uploaded your profile photo yet? Have you created a project? Then as you scroll down, you have a customizable tile to select some key areas of Houzz. If you were doing our ultimate subscription, you could select marketing. If not, you can keep leads and projects. And then further down the page, you'll see some quick access links to our most recent articles from our Houzz Pro Learn Center. But if we look over to the right-hand side, here you'll see a link to the full Houzz Pro Learn Center. And this is a really useful place to come because the information here is not just on using your Houzz profile, but there's a lot of content here that is industry specific as well. You can search by industry and topic. Some really fantastic content in here for you. Then as we scroll up, you'll see above that the Pro to Pro discussion board. This is online forums for professionals only. And then you'll see a quick access link to our help center. Okay. Now, if we go back to our portal, in the top right-hand corner is another help button. So this is really important. This also will take you through to the help center, and this is also where you can contact the support team. But let's start with the help center. So by clicking here, this will take you through to a page where you can search our robust catalog of articles, tutorials, how-tos, all about your Houzz Pro account. So if you needed some help perhaps on creating mood boards, you could type in what you're looking for, and again, it'll take you through to all of the articles that are related to that topic. You can scroll through and have a look at what you need. And as you hover on these articles, you also get a snapshot of what is included in each. So this is always where I would recommend to come as a first step. If you're new to your account and you just want to find out how to do something, always search the help center because these articles are so robust. You'll see there are step-by-step screenshots giving you full detail about what you need to do. They're extremely thorough and you'll get an instant answer. However, of course, if you're not able to find what you're looking for or you do need to contact support, all you need to do is click the Contact Us, submit a support request, and here you'll be able to see you can fill out a form. So you can select the topic that you're after. Again, it might be mood boards, and put in the details. All of these tickets do directly come through to the support team, and we have a sophisticated ticketed system that allows our reps to get back to you in a timely manner. So when you are submitting an inquiry through to support, it's best to enter as much detail as you can, including what project you're working in, what document number you're working on, what line item you need help with. The more information you can provide us, this will help us troubleshoot and get back to you in a timely manner. Okay, so let's go back to the Houzz portal. So to access your account settings in Houzz Pro, you can simply hover on this cog in the top right hand corner. You'll see it says settings. When I click, I'll see all of the different settings available to me within Houzz Pro. So let's click on account settings. Now this is definitely where you want to start because the information here is what will populate those branded documents for you later. So you'll want to make sure your logo is uploaded, your ABN number is in here, and that all of your company contact information is up to date and correct. Now you'll notice that it's grayed out here, and that's because it's actually pulling from our profile settings. So if you did need to make changes to your company contact details, you would simply click into the profile settings and update it there. Next you have billing. This is where you can come to update your payment method for your Houzz Pro subscription. And then you have subscription manager. So by clicking into here, you'll see what type of subscription you're on, the start date of your subscription. You're also able to download your invoices from your subscription from here as well. Now, if you are still within the first 30 days of your Houzz Pro subscription and you feel that the product is not a fit for you, this is where you can come to actually cancel and opt out of that 12-month subscription if you are still within that first 30-day trial period only. Then we can go into online payments. So this allows you to set up your account so that you can receive online payments from your clients. Just follow the prompts here. You'll be able to enter in your bank details, and once you've set that up, your clients will be able to pay via credit card on your live documents later. We use a third-party processor, Stripe, and there's a 1.4% transaction fee. Next, we have financials and accounting. So here you're able to set up your default GST settings on your documents. Are they inclusive or exclusive of GST? You can always customize this on a document later if you need to. You can type in a custom invoice name, and you can also set up your GST rates. To do that, simply click Add GST and fill out the details. So if you're an Australian professional, 10%, if you're in New Zealand, 15%, and if you're working with multiple rates, you can select your default from here as well. Next, we have teams. So here you can invite your team members and your subcontractors or suppliers to collaborate with you in your online workspace, and you will have full control over the permissions you are giving them access to. So first we'll look at team members. The number of team members you can invite to your Houzz Pro account will depend on what level of subscription you're on. If you're not sure, you can always reach out to support and we can help you with that. To invite a team member, simply click on Invite Team, and you'll get a pop-up here where you can enter in their name, their email, and start typing in their role to create a new role. And then you'll see the list of permissions, split up into the different areas of your projects, leads, projects, and visual tools. So let's say you want to give your team member visibility on leads, but not allow them to hold meetings. You could deselect that. When you're happy with the permissions you've set, simply click Invite. Your team member will appear as pending here, and they will receive an email from your company asking them to create a login. Once they've activated that, it will appear green here and say activated. You can always come in and edit and add or remove permissions if you like. If for any reason you need to resend the invitation, you can do so from here. Perhaps it went to their spam, you can send it again. And should this team member move on from your company, you can remove them from Houzz Pro altogether by clicking remove. Now for subcontractors and suppliers, you'll see it's just on the same page, but in this tab. And you'll see I have an activated subcontractor here. This is exactly what it would look like once your team member accepts as well. So to invite a new subcontractor or supplier, simply click here. It looks a little bit different to the team member. You would put in their name, their email, whether they are a subcontractor or a supplier, then click next. And on this page, you'll see the permissions to what areas of Houzz Pro they will have access to. So that is the project overview, any files or shared documents that you share, timeline, and daily logs. They'll be able to create their own daily logs and share those with you as well. Then you can simply personalize an email for that supplier and click invite. Again, just like the team member, they'll receive an email from your company asking them to create a login, and once they do, you'll see activated here. Again, you can always edit, but when we click edit for a subcontractor and supplier, you'll see we have a permissions tab and an access tab. And the access tab shows us exactly which projects they have access to. If they have access to multiple projects, you would see them listed here. Now, if you need to remove them from a particular project, you would simply click the trash icon here to remove them from that project. And if you need to remove them from Houzz Pro altogether, again, clicking on their name in the list and click remove. We'll show you how to invite subcontractors and suppliers to particular projects later when we go into more detail in the projects section. Lastly, let's have a look at calendar. So here you can link your calendar, and this will enable an easy online scheduling experience for your clients. It's going to also eliminate that back and forth when trying to nail down a time. I already have my calendar linked, but for you, you would see a blue button here where you could click and link your calendar. And then once you've done that, you'll have access to our video conferencing integrations, allowing you to leverage video meetings with your clients. Here you'll see you also have personal booking links, and this is dependent on the call type. So whether it's a video call, on-site, or phone call, you can select and copy this link and use it in other media, email, website, wherever you would like to. Here you'll see your meeting types that you can edit and customize. Simply create new by clicking create new meeting type and click edit settings to select your preferences for that meeting type. So if you would only like to have clients schedule video calls between say 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. on a Friday, you can go ahead and select those details and customize and then click save. You'll also see down here you can promote video consultations on your Houzz profile by turning on this toggle. This means that when potential clients are looking at you in the professional directory, they'll see your listing and they can also click video meeting and schedule that with you here. If you need to unlink your calendar, simply click Okay, so now let's have a look at managing your leads in Houzz Pro. We're going to click on leads and then we'll select see all leads. And this will take you through to our client relationship management tool or CRM tool. So this tool allows you to view all of your leads from various sources and keep track of all of your client communications in one centralized place. So let's have a look at what we can see. Here we have all of our active leads. And on the left-hand side, we can see which stage all of these leads are in, from anything that we've followed up with, to scheduling a meeting with, to any that we've won and converted into projects. We also have the option to snooze and archive. So you'll notice when I hover on top of a lead, I get these three dots. Again, anytime you see these three dots, this is a menu. It means there are options there for you. So when we select this, I have the options to snooze, archive, or delete. So let's say we're booked out for the next couple months. We don't have capacity to take this project on, but this lead is happy to wait for us. We can select from the dates here or choose a custom date and then hit snooze. Houzz Pro will recall this lead when it is time to speak to them again, making it easy for you to follow up with your clients. Or perhaps it's not a fit for you. You can select archive, you can select the reason why, save, and also have a default email that will be sent to your client. You can also import any leads into Houzz Pro, and we would recommend, again, making sure that you are doing this so that you're only working with all of your leads in one spot, making it easy for you to stay organized and on top of all of these potential clients. So the first option here is import leads. If I click here, I have two options. The first is the option to download a CSV file. So once you download this template, you can copy and paste details and then re-upload the CSV file into Houzz Pro so that your contacts are listed in your leads section. The second option here is to import from an email. So if you already have a conversation with a potential client in your inbox, you can copy this email address and forward that conversation to it so that it imports into your Houzz Pro account. You can also utilize our Gmail extension. If you're using Gmail, you would click here and you can download from the Google Chrome store. And again, using this extension will make it really easy for you to import any emails that you're currently interacting with within Gmail into Houzz Pro. And you can create a new lead manually. Simply click on Create New Lead, put in the lead details. You can select from your existing clients or create a new. But what's important here is lead source. Again, you can select social media, word of mouth, phone call, making sure that all of those leads are in the one spot, easy for you to work with. When you're ready, click Create Lead. But let's click within a lead I've already created and have a look at the functionality there. So the first thing we'll see when we click into a lead is the overview page. We'll see the last email that was sent, and as we scroll down, we'll see the lead activity, showing us exactly what's been happening with this lead. On the right-hand side, we'll see all the details that pertain to this lead. So what stage they're in, any proposals or estimates I've created, any upcoming meetings that we've scheduled, as well as the lead details. And we can edit these at any time as well. When we click into the Messages tab, this is where all of our emails back and forth with our client will be. You'll see the chain. To email your client, simply write in this box here. You'll see the normal formatting buttons at the bottom. You can attach pictures, you can attach files, and when you're ready, you can click Send. Or you can definitely create templates. So you'd want to click Customize Templates, create new templates, and here you can have all of your emails ready to go. And the goal here really is to automate this process as much as possible for you. So we do encourage you to use our smart text as well, including client name or perhaps even your calendar link. Again, making it really easy for you to have these emails ready to go and not spend a lot of time on them. Once you've created your custom templates, you can also star your quick replies. So perhaps they're the emails that you are most frequently using, or you just want to have these easy to go. You can star up to 4, and you can always search through your template list as well. Okay, let's go ahead and select one. So now that you have your email ready to go, you can actually preview the template details. So if I click in here, you'll see the style of the emails that you can send. So the default template will be slightly branded. You'll have your company logo. We have a letter icon ready there. The next template is more of a clean design, And then the last one is more of a branded style, and this will actually pull from the cover photo on your Houzz profile. You can also see what these emails would look like on mobile device. When you're happy, you can save and select. You also have the ability to create notes. So you'll see again these 3 dots. I can create a note that is specific to this conversation. So maybe details of inspo, add note. And what you'll see is in a long chain of emails back and forth, it's easy for me to find specific information that pertains to something that I'm looking for within this chain of emails. I can also create a template from a message. So if I've already created an email and sent that off, but it's something I want to save, I can definitely go ahead and do that. Now the notes section also allows me to create general notes. So they don't need to be attached to a specific email. I can put any notes that I need for this particular project in here. And I can also log my calls. So when you're on your phone to your client, you can see all of your lead details. You can go ahead and schedule meetings from here, and you can log the details that you have on the phone with your client. When you go ahead and select the status of that call, perhaps it was a good discussion. If this lead was in a new stage, as soon as you select good discussion, Houzz Pro would move this to follow up. So again, making it easy for you to stay on top of your follow-ups and stay on top of all of your leads. Okay. The file section over here will show you any attachments in your emails, but you can also upload files directly into the file section from here. And then the proposal section will show you any proposals or estimates that you've sent to your client. You can create them from here or upload into the system, but we'll go into more detail in the project section for creating proposals and estimates later. On the right-hand side, again, you can schedule meetings. So we linked our calendar, so we're able to share our calendar from here. We can select the meeting type, we can copy the link, and we can hyperlink this into an email if we like to share with our client, or we can schedule on behalf of our client. By clicking here and viewing our calendar, because again, we've synced that in, we'll be able to see all of our availability without leaving Houzz Pro. We can select the time, send an invite, and that will schedule this meeting for our client, but also schedule it in our calendar as well, alerting both parties. If we need to cancel the meeting or reschedule, we'll be giving those options as well. Okay. Then when you're happy and you've won this project, you can go ahead and click Convert to Project. And all of the information that is housed within this lead will move into the project section of Houzz Pro, and it will unlock all of the extra functionality now that this lead is a project.
Hi everybody, my name is Emma and I am a support specialist and Houzz Pro expert. So today I'll be guiding you through a couple of features on Houzz Pro, but first thing we're going to go through is projects. So how to create them, how to create your documents within the project, and just collaborating with your client. So to access your projects, we just select projects in our navigation bar at the top and select see all projects. So this is obviously going to let you view all of your existing projects you've got, but also create new projects moving forward. So first thing I'm going to do is click on Create New Project in the top right hand corner and give basic details about this project. For example, we can come in and give it a project name. We've got our client. So if you've already added a client into the client database that you've got going, your client library, you can select it from the list here. If you're creating a new client, you can just click on Create New Client and just give basic contact details, first name, phone number, address, so on and so forth. Below that, we've got the ability to add in the project type. So what this project consists of. You've got a couple of options that you can come in and choose here. I'm just going to go in and select Custom Home. I've then got a project code. So the project code that you enter in here is actually going to appear at the beginning of every document number. So we'll be able to see exactly what that looks like in a minute. Below that, address, so you've got your address for your client. You can come in here and change this, so when you create a purchase order, for example, you can have it delivered to a different address. Below that, financial details, so if you've got a budget on the project, you can come in and enter that. Any details we add in here can be edited later, so if the budget does change, you can edit that. Below that, project scope. So I'm just going to add in here something really simple. Stick to budget. You can go as crazy you want with details here, things a client likes, things that are important to the client, just for you and your team to know exactly what this project scope looks like. Once you've added that in, select done in the bottom right hand corner, and that's going to create a new project for you. So the first thing we have is our project overview. So at the moment it's pretty blank. We haven't really done anything with the project yet. We've just created it. But what we can do is start getting the ball rolling. First thing you might want to do is actually invite your subcontractor to your project. To do that, just select invite in the top right hand corner. You can share the client dashboard for this project, which is really handy for keeping them in the loop. Or you can invite subcontractors or suppliers to collaborate on the project as well. So once you click on that, you'll be able to see your list of subcontractors or suppliers you've already added into the software. So in those account settings that Melanie walked you through. Once you go ahead and select a specific person, you've got a short personal message which is going to be sent in the body of the email. And then once you've gone ahead and invited them, what you'll be able to do is go back into our invite list, go back into subcontractor and supplier, and have a look at who you've invited, what their role is, and what the status is. For example, still pending, they haven't accepted my invite just yet. If for some reason you've made a mistake, you can remove them, or if they haven't received that email and they want it resent to reach the top of their inbox, you can click resend invitation. So, project overview. So this is going to give you a quick snapshot of everything you've done in the project so far. So, for example, quick access is going to show us the latest documents created within the project. Below that we've got messages. So any messages sent between yourself and the client directly will appear here. And you can also come in and send messages from this section as well, just as a quick access. You can also come in below and assign tasks. So these tasks can be assigned to your client or team members, just to make sure everyone's on track of the project and everyone knows what needs to be done. Below that you've got upcoming events. So most of these will autofill during the life cycle of your project. For example, if you create an estimate or an invoice, the due date will automatically come up here, so you can keep track of all of your documents and make sure everything's paid or approved on time. Below that we've got our files, so again any attachments sent throughout the project, they go into auto-populate here. The next tab we've got in our project is our messages tab. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but you can come in and continue your email thread. Below that we've got our timeline. So I'm not going to touch base on this at the moment, we'll link back to this in a minute, but basically you can come in here and create as many stages for your client or internally to keep track of the life cycle of the project. We'll touch base on this in a minute, we'll come back to this. Then we've got our estimates. So this is where we want to start going into a little bit more detail. So we've got a project, awesome, we want to send them an estimate. When we click on new estimate in the top right hand corner, we've got three options. One, from scratch, which is what we'll do together. Two is upload. If you have created a quote in Excel or another software and you want to export that into a PDF, you can then upload that in the software here. Third option is a template. So I'll show you how you can create a template, but basically once you've created a quote from scratch, you can then save it as a template. So moving forward, you don't have to create them from scratch each time. You come in and just select a template. Before I do go ahead and create one from scratch, one thing I want to make clear is that everyone does have different packages and different package levels. Depending on your package type and package level, you may not have access to every single feature that I do show you today. And if you do have access to them, they may look a little bit different. So if you have any questions on why yours looks different, feel free to reach out and we can walk you through it. So I'm going to go in, create a new estimate from scratch. So once I create a new estimate, the first thing you may want to do is give it a new title. So in the very top left-hand corner, I can click into this box here, and maybe I want to change it from the project name to the specific room or package I'm working on. Next, I've got my costs. Do you want this cost to include or exclude GST? And what is the due date for payment or approval on your document? Once you've got that set up, we can start adding in our line items. So what I'm actually going to do is collapse this total and activity stream on the right hand side. We'll touch base on that in a minute, but that just lets me focus on my line items in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead, click on add items, and I'm going to go ahead and add one from scratch. So I'm going to start by creating a new one. Again, yours may look a little bit different from this point, but the overall information's all the same. So first thing I'm going to do is add in a title. So this is going to be kind of like my subheading in my quote. So I'm going to come in and say tiles 600 by 600 millimeters. This is material. My category, which is going to be my heading for this line item. Maybe I'm going to pop it under, let's say kitchen. You can create any type of category just by typing it in and then clicking to create. You can also type in to find existing categories that you've got. So just rather than scrolling through the list, you can easily search that up. Below that, I've got my pricing. So it is best practice to always have your library or unit price in by one quantity. This way, every time you add it to a document, you don't need to figure out, your quantities based off your pricing. Always have it on the quantity of one and work out your unit costs. These are tiles, so I'm going to have my unit type as square meter. If you have something like a appliance, an oven, you may want to do pieces, but you can add in custom unit types. So you can add in your own. And once you've got that in, hit enter and it becomes a new list. If you want to remove it, you can just hover over and click on delete, the trash can icon. Like I said, I'm going to go with square meter and I'm just going to remove that test. Below that, I've got cost per unit. So from my supplier directly, I might get trade or wholesale. So I'm just going to pop that in there so I know how much I'm purchasing these tiles for. I'm then going to add on a markup because I want to make profit. So I'm going to go in with a standard 15% markup. If I know my markup dollar amount, not a percentage, no worries, you can just come in here and type in your client price. That way you know you're making a $40 profit on each square meter. I can actually go one step further and I can say to my client, I'm giving this to you for $120, but it actually retails for $150, so I'm saving you $30 per square meter. Below that, we've got, does this cost include or exclude GST? And what our GST rate is. Below that, we've got our vendor details. So here you can add in your vendor, so when you do go ahead and create your purchase orders, it's automatically linked. I've then got my client-facing description, so I can come in here and I can say, perfect for the kitchen, floors, and splashback. Just as an example, you can say if you want this description to be used on your purchase orders as well. Terrible example to send to your supplier, so I'm just going to go ahead and write, please confirm tiles are from the same batch. Below that, I've got SKU and manufacturer, and I've got the option to upload images. I'm just going to skip that for now and select create, and that's going to then create my new line item. So this here is where I might want to go ahead and add in extra items. For the first time, you'll need to create them all new, but then you can go ahead from your library and start adding in all of your line items. So here we've got a favorites and your items. So favorites are things that I've gone ahead and added that I use often. Otherwise, you've got your items, which are all of the previously added line items. So I can come in here, have a look at everything I've added in from my kitchen category. I can select that and it'll add into my quote. If I want to, I can click on my star icon and actually have that in my favorite list as well. I'm just going to go in with a couple of appliances for the kitchen as well. Let's go with a double door fridge and a gas top oven. I'm just going to keep it basic. I'm not going to add that many more line items. But basically I've got my two categories here. So the first one is kitchen, and below that we've got our appliances. So what I'm going to do is open up my kitchen. First thing I want to do now that I've got my quote all set up with all of my line items is change my quantities. So for my tiles, I'm thinking 45 square meters. I'm going to need 2 tapwares, and for my appliances, I'm only going to have 1 each. Second thing I can do is with my images I haven't got anything uploaded for, I can either upload them manually at this stage or I can use my logo. So rather than keeping it as just a blank image, I can come in, use my logo and make it look that little bit more professional. You can also upload up to 5 images, so if you've got a couple of angles of the product you want to upload, you could do that as well. For things like labour, you can actually come in and upload the subcontractor's logo. So that's something that is quite handy as well. Now that I've got all of my line items in, what I might want to go ahead and do is customize my document. So I've got my customize option at the top. If I want, I can give the option for my client to approve per line item. Maybe I don't want them to see what room the product belongs to or the client description I've set up. Once I've set up all my line items, I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to request a deposit for my client. So I'm just going to select request a deposit. I've got my dollar amount, so I can come in with maybe $50 or 50%. So that's something you can play around with as well. I've then got when I want my client to pay this. So maybe sometime in the new year. Create. So now I've got my deposit request, 50%, when I want it paid. Maybe I want to also schedule multiple payments just for the remaining amount. Every time you add a scheduled payment, it'll split it up per the remaining percentage. You can call them whatever you like, and you can give them custom due dates as well. So all of your due dates will be organised, all of your payment schedules will be organised per due date, as you can see here. Below that, we can upload our files. We've got T's and C's and memos. So with your T's and C's, you can come in and add templates. So these are all of my terms and condition templates I've already created within the system. So I can come in and edit them, or I can actually go back and save them as company defaults. So for the first time, you'll need to come in, create new, create your template, and just give it a title. And then you can come in and set that as an actual company default, which means that that'll automatically populate for every document type you've added it in for. For example, your estimates, invoices, retainers, purchase orders, variation orders, just all of the documents in total. With my memo, I might just want to pop in my bank details so my client can see that and think, okay, awesome, I'll just give her a bank transfer. Perfect. Now that I've set everything up and I'm happy with how everything looks, I'm going to go ahead and click on More Actions and save it as a template. So next time I have a job for a kitchen, I've got my standard layout, maybe I've got all of my services attached as well, then I'm just going to save it as a template. If I'm doing 4 kitchens and maybe all the tapware is the same, I would add all my tapware and duplicate and edit the document 4 times and then add in everything that's customized from there, rather than starting from scratch each time. Once I go ahead and click on preview and share, that's going to give me the option to see what the client sees before I send it off. So I can see my logo, company details, client details, due dates of my document, but also I've got all of my line items here as well. If I don't want my client to be seeing the description, I can turn that off. If I want them to see quantity and unit, I can turn that on. Maybe I don't want to show detailed pricing, I can turn that off. I can just go as detailed or as vague to my client as I want to be. I've also got the option to require an electronic signature. So I do always recommend having that ticked, because when your client goes ahead and approves or declines each line item, or approves the document in total, they're going to have to scroll down to the bottom and e-sign the document. Because if you've gone ahead and maybe they've approved all of the appliances, you've thought, okay, awesome, they've approved it, let's go ahead and purchase them, and the client turns around and says, hey, actually I changed my mind, I don't want that anymore, you can always say, well, I've gotten your approval, you're going to have to pay me for that difference. So once a client does approve and decline each line item, it locks in the document and it can't be edited any further. So I always recommend, if you've got an indecisive client, using this tool, because it just backs yourself up a little bit. You've also got the option on deciding how you want these to be split up. So if you have approval and decline, and your client's gone ahead and declined these two line items, do you want that to deduct $3,000 off your deposit request by a percentage amount or by a fixed amount? Once you're ready, go ahead, send it off to your client. You can add yourself in, or you can export it as a PDF, email it, and then confirm and send. Let's pretend I've gone ahead and sent this off to my client and they've approved it. I'm just going to do that on my client's behalf. Click on more actions and approve or decline. One thing I quickly want to touch base on is if the client does approve and decline each line item, it'll automatically lock the document. So like I said before, the document's finalized, the client's approved it. If you don't want your client to lock it in just yet, if they're quite indecisive, you can actually come into more actions, approve per line item, and approve or decline for them. That way you can save it, have those there, but not actually submit it just yet. That way if the client does change their mind, you can come back and approve it, and then select Save and Submit, which will lock the document so we can no longer click into quantities and square meterage and pricing. It's all locked in. So now that everything's approved, we want to go ahead and get the ball rolling with our other documents. So for example, purchase orders. I'm just going to tick all these line items and I'm going to click Create Purchase Orders. So that's going to automatically bring up all my line items and link in the supplier automatically linked into those products. If I want to change the vendor allocated, I can come in and create that as well. Once I click Create Purchase Orders, it'll generate those purchase orders, but it won't send them to your vendor. So they're sitting in there, so when you're ready, you can come into your document, if needed, adjust any pricing, and then send them off as an order. So now we're in our Purchase Orders tab. I can click into a purchase order. It all looks very similar, so you can see exactly the same view as your estimate. And you've got the option to ship to a certain address. We've got the option to have a look at our line items and add in any missing details, as well as a shipping ETA. If needed, we can come in and customize the pricing. Maybe we've sent this off to our vendor and they've said, hey, you've listed it as 80, but it's actually 90. I can come in and edit that here. I can also add in tracking, so I'm still waiting for a quote. Maybe it's been delivered, maybe everything's done and it's installed. Once that's all done, I can log my payment, I can mark it as billed, and then I can go ahead and say, yep, I've paid them, I don't need to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and create that. And that way I know, okay, awesome, it's done. If I go back into my project, I can go ahead and see that I've paid that one document. So I've paid the $4,000, I've got $5,000 owing to my vendors. From here, what I can do is go back into my estimate. So what I can actually do is click on my linked documents and go back into the exact document rather than clicking into estimates and finding which one was linked to each purchase order. So by clicking into that estimate, it's going to bring me back for me to then go, okay, awesome. Like I said, I quoted my client $80, but it's actually $90, which is an extra $10 per square meter, which is definitely going to add up. Rather than me being out of pocket, I'm going to tick these items and I'm going to convert these onto an invoice. So a finalized document, pretending again that the products have been delivered, services are complete. We want to wrap up the project into an invoice, transfer all of our payment schedules into that final invoice for my client. So this is the opportunity that I have, rather than be out of pocket, update that pricing and see that update in real time. Once I've customized all I need to, again, preview and share, send this off to your client and have the whole project wrapped up. So during the life cycle of your project, and again, this might depend on your package level, you might have access to variation orders. So along the way, if your client does change their mind, perhaps they want to add on an extra kitchen, doubling your quantities, you can come in and create a variation order and update those line items. For example, if I click back into my document, I'm going to go ahead and tick maybe the tiles as an example, and I'm going to double the quantity to resend it off to my client so they can see the payment difference amount. So I'm going to tick those tiles, create variation order. Again, looks very similar, so we're not learning a whole new thing each time. But this way we can see the documents it lives on, description, so maybe here I want to say added an extra kitchen level. Here I'm going to double quantities, whatever that may be, square meter, pricing. If I want to as well, I can add a variation order fee, and then I can resend that off to my client, and they can see the total due amount, which is that price difference. Again, preview and share, send it off to your client. During the life cycle of your project, there are so many other little tools that you've got access to. For example, we've got our notes tab. So this is really handy to keep on track of things that you want to share with your team, but not your client. So make sure client has samples organized. Is everyone on page of due dates from documents, coming in and actually logging calls as well. So maybe you had a call with the client, you can come in and recap all the details about that specific interaction with the client. I'm just going to hop back into overview and have a look at what those changes look like. So now we've got access to our recently viewed documents, that variation order, estimate, and invoice. I've then got my message history, and I've got all of the due dates for my documents coming up. So I can see my 3 purchase orders, my invoices, all of those payment schedules in one place. So I hope that gives you some confidence in working with your projects. Feel free to flick through and have a bit of a play with it, even if you want to create a test project first, listing your client as maybe your personal email address or a family member, and that way you can have a good play with the project tool. Okay, so now that we've gone through the project, let's go through project procurement. So we're going to go through 3 features: the timeline, the time tracking tool, and the daily logs. So first we'll start off with the timeline. So we'll click into the timeline tool in our project dashboard, and I'm just going to go ahead and collapse that. So with the project timeline, sometimes managing your calendar and communicating changes to the client or even team members feels like a full-time job in itself. So what you can actually do is come into this intuitive project timeline tool and share this with those members. So in our project timeline at the top, we can select share. That'll give you the option to share it with your client. You can share it with team members or subcontractors and suppliers. So you can turn this on and off and give them access to certain tools. In that, they're going to be able to view all of the stages you have created for this project. So the whole idea is giving your homeowners or team members transparency so they can get updates in real time, pretty much freeing you up to actually focus your time on the actual project rather than keeping the client in the loop. So what you can see is all of our stages we have created within the project and each Gantt chart allocating to their date. What you can come and do is add in a new stage by clicking add in the top right hand corner, giving your stage a title. You can allocate this to belong to the whole day. You can give it a certain time frame if that's what you prefer. You can give it a location and a certain color. Once you create that stage, it'll add in as a new chart. You can extend the days or change the days it falls on by clicking and dragging in your interactive Gantt chart line item. For a more focused view, you can actually collapse each stage name and then it'll present into the actual Gantt chart coloured allotment. With your Gantt chart, you can fit everything in one view. You can focus on today, or if you prefer, you can work out of the calendar view as well. To make it that little bit more easier, you can actually click on these three dots and sync your calendar. So if you want to work out of your Google Calendar and see all of those events you've got on today, as well as your Houzz Pro events, you can sync in your calendar and have it viewed all in the one spot. The second tool we'll cover is time and expenses. So we'll hop into finances and then hop into time and expenses. So this allows you to track your time without having to guess. Where was my time going? Where was I working on a certain event? You can actually track your time as you go. So whether you're tracking your own time or a certain team member's time, you can come into your time and expenses tool, click on your stopwatch in the top right hand corner and start tracking. Once you do select start stopwatch, you can allocate a project. You can come in with a specific service and you also come in with your rates and GST. If you're just logging your time, you're not necessarily wanting to charge this, you can tick billable and that'll allocate it in your time and expenses chart if you want to charge this. If you have unticked billable, you can still charge your client this time. You can then come in with a description. So here I've got a consultation. Maybe we are organizing samples. Once you do select start stopwatch, it'll start tracking your time in the top right hand corner and you can add in as many stopwatches. If you're multitasking, which I'm sure you guys do a lot, you can track your time as you go across all different projects and services. Another way of tracking your time is by manually tracking. So we can click on new entry in the top right hand corner. And this way we're doing it more manually. So maybe we're backtracking. So here, same process. We're going with a specific project, a team member, a service, all similar items. Rates, billable, GST rates, but here's where it gets a little bit different. So we're backtracking here. So we can open up our calendar tool and maybe we're logging time for last week. We can then allocate how many hours we worked on. Maybe we're traveling here and we're going to log another one for maybe next week or whatever your dates are. You can add in a description and you can actually upload files, which comes in handy for expenses as well. Once you click on save, that'll add in a new entry. We can see at the top here, I've got my 2 new entries for my dates, my services, and my hours. If you wanted to charge this to your client, you can actually tick these 2 boxes and generate an invoice. So that way you can track your time for you and your team members to understand, one, where your hours are being spent, making sure your time's being used well, as well as invoicing your clients directly through Houzz Pro. You can also export your list that you're looking at here. So if you did want to organize it per team member and then export this list for you to keep track of where your time's going into an Excel file, you can do that as well. Let's say 2 hours went by, we can come back into our stopwatch and log our time, or we can delete it entirely. So that is tracking your time, pretty much allowing you to invoice or just see where your time is going. Just makes it easier for you and your team to track your time and expenses and be entered at convenience from your office, or you've even got the mobile app, you can track your time as you go as well. I'm just going to hop back into my project, and then I'm going to go into the daily logs tool. So this is really useful in keeping your clients up to date, again, with what's going on within the project. So once you are within a project, we're just going to click on daily logs, and here we can view all the logs created within the project. So here we've got the one entry we've got. We can create new ones as we go, but these are just ways for you to keep track of what's going on. So by default, it is shared with, as you can see in the top right hand corner, team members. If you want, you can come in and share this with your clients, as well as subs and suppliers. If you want as well, you can actually create these daily, weekly, there is no restriction, you can create as many as you'd like. And you've also got the option for your subcontractors to create these as well. So they can come in and give a recap on what they've done throughout the day on site. Once you create all your daily logs and share them, they're going to be shared on the client dashboard for everyone to collaborate and just see what's going on. So those are the 3 procurement tools. Most of them can be accessed within each project, so feel free to get in and start creating.
Okay, so now we're going to have a look at sharing the client dashboard. And we've mentioned a couple times throughout the webinar about creating these positive client experiences. The dashboard is definitely one of the features you can utilize to foster this. So I'm currently within a project. Each project has their own client dashboard. And all I need to do is click the invite button on the project homepage. I'll get a drop down and I'm going to select client dashboard. And this will link me through to the preview of my client dashboard. Now, I would recommend sharing this with your clients at the very beginning of their project and asking them to bookmark it, because as the project progresses, this will be a one-stop link for them to come to see all of the moving parts and correspondence that you are sending to them about their project. They won't need to go into numerous emails and texts. Everything they need will be in the one spot, making it easy for them to work with you. So let's have a look at how you can share this. You'll notice on the right hand side, this panel says that I can share it as an email, and I absolutely can. Or if I want to send it as a link instead, I can select the link option, copy this link, and I could hyperlink the dashboard in another email to my client if I wanted to. Okay. I can also have some options here on how I would like to display the totals on the dashboard. So do I want them to see the total outstanding, total paid, retainer balance, credit balance? It's up to me, and I can see that that will reflect as I make these options here. Okay. So this is the client preview view, and we're on the home page. So it's showing us a snapshot of all the information currently stored in the dashboard, including any open tasks. You'll see here I have a proposal or an estimate that's ready for approval, any messages or the last message that we sent, the totals, and then also attachments. But as I actually click into each of these details on the left-hand side, we'll go into messages, it's going to show us absolutely everything. So all the messages back and forth with this client from when we were interacting with them in the lead stage to after when we converted to a project and began sending them documents. The financial tab is all of those documents that we are sending. So any proposals, invoices, or estimates that we've sent, any that are outstanding, need approval, need payment, they'll all be listed here. The timeline is also visible here, and again, it's a really great way for you to allow your clients to visualize the different stages of their projects. Any attachments, so any attachments you may have sent via email or any files that you would have uploaded into the file section of the project to share with your client will be visible here. And then daily logs. And also remembering that your subcontractors, if you give them permission to daily logs, they can log within here as well and keep both you and the client up to date in this section. So really giving them that transparency and letting them understand exactly what's happening with their project at any given time.
So within your Houzz Pro account, you do have access to creating a mood board. So this is a really great visual tool that allows you to collaborate with your client before talking specifics and having to redesign furniture options. So To access your mood board tool, select Design and select Mood Boards. That's going to give you options to create a new mood board across any projects that you've got going on, but also allow you to look at any existing mood boards you've got. So once you go to create a new mood board, you've got a couple of options in the top left-hand corner. So this is your mood board toolbar. So the first option you do have is upload photos. So this allows you to upload any image you've saved to your computer or an ID book on your Houzz profile. Once you've added in that photo, it adds a product into your mood board for you to then resize, move around. If you need to, you can flip which way it's facing. You've got the option to crop as well. For example, if you wanted a material swatch, you could actually crop that so it adds in as you'd like. You've also got options to remove or restore backgrounds. As products usually come with white backgrounds, you can come in and actually remove it. That way you've got that layering aspect that you can see here. You've also got the option of adding in a floor plan. So any floor plan you have created within Houzz Pro, you can actually link that into your mood board like you can see here. You can come in with color swatches like we've got in the middle here. So you can add any kind of color that you'd like. You've got the option to show the swatch detail or remove that if you'd like. You can come in with text and give it a title. You can play around with fonts, colors, sizes, bold or italic, so you can get pretty creative here. You've also got the option to draw. So you can come in with a color selection tool and draw anything you'd like in. You can also come in with a point tool or an underline, like we've done here, and point to a specific product. And my favorite is actually the measuring tool. So you can come in and you can say to your client, perhaps this sofa lounge is X amount tall. So you can come in with your dimensions here as well. Once you've created your mood board, every time you add in a product, it'll add into your product list in your top right hand corner. So this way you can see every product that you've allocated in your mood board. You've also got a source tab which allows you to source the Houzz library. So if you did want a product placed in, you can just select it, and again it'll add into the middle of your mood board for you to then resize and move where you need it to go. And again, every time you add that in, it'll add into your product list. Once you've created your mood board and you're happy with it, you can come in and actually share this with your client. So first thing we want to do is make sure we've saved it. We can then select print, and this is going to allow you to, one, print it off so you can maybe bring it to meetings, but also in your destination, you can save it as a PDF. So if you wanted, you could actually come in, save as PDF, attach it to certain documents, maybe you've got estimates or variation orders, anything like that you want to save it to, or you can actually attach it to an email. So as a PDF, you can pretty much go crazy with it. If you want as well, you can come in with your mood board toolbar and create a new mood board, save it as, share it to Houzz, or search up any help you need. So that's how you use your mood board tool. Again, you've got all of access to every mood board you've created within your account, and you've got the option to remove ones that you don't need as well. So our second visual tool is floor plans. So you can actually create a floor plan within Houzz Pro, generate a bit of a rendering, and actually send this to your client. So click on Design and then 3D Floor Plans. So if you have installed the mobile app, you can actually take your mobile on site, measure up through your mobile device by following the prompts on the app, and actually uploading that to your desktop view for you to then go back into the office and start adding in products and renderings. So this is also collaborative on your mobile. If you don't want to go on site or you don't have access to the site, you can always come in and add a floor plan in manually as well. So click Add a Floor Plan. That's going to open up a new tab with your floor plan. That's a blank canvas, rectangle room. So this is your opportunity to come in and start building up your room. First thing you might want to do is give it a title. So maybe this is a bedroom for a specific client. You can then come in, zoom out, click on a wall and that'll highlight blue. You can hold down Shift and click on multiple walls and they'll both highlight blue. And you can click on the trash can to remove those walls. To add in new walls, we're going to click on our Draw Walls pen in the top left-hand corner. Click on a certain place and add in those new walls. Just as a bit of reference, each square is 1 meter. If you've added in your walls and it's a little bit off measurements, what you can do is actually hop into Dollhouse and get a little 3D model of what you've created. So you can click on a wall and start measuring with specific dimensions. So you can come in, maybe you want that to be exactly 6 meters. You can also click on an internal wall or an external wall and they'll be separate measurements. That's something to keep in mind as well. Once you've done that, hop back into your floor plan view and start customizing a little bit more. So, clicking on a wall, you can change the wall thickness. If you needed, you can start adding in your ceiling height, doors and windows. I want to keep the ceiling height the same, but with our doors, all we need to do is find the look of the door we want. Select the look we want. It'll add into the middle of our floor plan and we can start measuring placing these where we want them to go. So maybe I want it on this wall. Maybe it doesn't flip the way I want it to. I can always change that by clicking on flip. Once we have added in a product, we can always allocate specific dimensions. So you can come in on your right hand side and change those to be what you need them to be. Once you've done that, if you come in and duplicate a product that has customized dimensions, it'll duplicate and keep those dimensions as well. If we go in and add in a product from here, even though we've added in the glass door panel, the same as this one, it won't keep the dimension, so it'll add it in as a new product. I'm just going to add in maybe 2 doors, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go in with some more window options. So I'm going to scroll down to my windows. Again, I'm just going to click on the look that I want, so maybe a single, and again, it's going to add into the middle, and I just need to drag it along the walls where I want it to go. With our windows, it's a little bit different, so now we've also got the distance from the floor, so we can come in and change that as well. I always recommend coming in and just hopping back into Dollhouse every now and then just to make sure everything looks about right. So we can see here I did not calculate that properly, so maybe I want to go back into my floor plan, remove and just stick to what was already there because I am not a home professional. Hop back into Dollhouse, make sure it looks good. Awesome. So now that I've got my structural elements down, my wall dimensions, my doors and windows, I'm going to start adding in my products. So as I said before, I'm going to make this a bedroom. So I'm going to hop into my bedroom furniture category. I'm going to click on the product that I want. It's going to add again into the middle. I click on it, drag it where I need it to go and customize those dimensions. Once I've added that in, I can come in with all of my options. Feel free to go through all the categories, see what's right for you. For example, I'm going to just click on float shelving. Again, I'm going to click and drag it to where I want it to go. And then I'm going to go into Dollhouse to make sure that I'm happy with it. So to me, awesome, looks good. Before I send this to my client, I can customize it a little bit more. So I can actually click on the floor and add in flooring. So I've got a couple of wood and carpet options I can have a look at here. But I can also go into Dollhouse and actually customize the walls as well. So we can go one step further, click on each wall. Again, you can hold down Shift and click on multiple walls at once and add in a paint color. So maybe I'm going to add in a grey wall. What I'm going to do is actually go into a floor plan that I've already created just to kind of show you what the difference is. So this is something that's been created. I've got kind of like a unit style. I've got my separate rooms. You can create as many rooms as you'd like. I've got all my dimensions in. I can go back into Dollhouse view, have a look at the 3D model. So now I'm going to see what it looks like all come together. and have a look at it all as one. I've also got the option of walkthrough. So what that's going to do is actually put me inside the room so my client can look around and see how it all comes together. Once I've got it all down pat and I'm happy with it, what I'm going to do is click on share in the top right hand corner and actually copy this link and send it to my client. That way my client will be able to look at floor plan, dollhouse and walk through and look at what I've created. They won't be able to click on it and edit the dimensions or add in extra products. They're just looking at what you've created. You can always duplicate a floor plan you've created, rename it or delete it. You can create as many floor plans as you'd like across all projects. So feel free to come in, create a couple of drafts, play around with the mobile app as well, and generate a couple of floor plans and send it to your client.
So that brings us to the end of today's webinar. If we didn't answer all of your questions, a reminder, we'll be getting back to you via email later today. Also, if you do have any follow-up questions for us, remember you can always use the Help Center in the top right-hand corner of your account and search our articles or submit a request through to us, include the topic and as much detail as you can, and submit your questions directly through to the support team, and we'll get back to you from there as well. We'll also be launching the link to the Houzz Pro app in the chat box now. If you haven't already downloaded it, please go ahead, as it's going to help you keep on top of your projects on the go as well. Well, that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to working with you. Bye.